Money did not begin as coins or paper. It did not begin to make life easier. It began because something stopped working. And when that system failed, everything changed. This is where the real story starts. In this video, you will learn why humans created money in the first place. You will learn what problem it was meant to solve. You will also learn why most explanations are incomplete. This explanation matters today because money shapes almost every decision we make. It affects how we work. It affects how we plan our lives. It affects how we measure success and security. This story is easy to follow because it starts with human behavior. No complex economics, no technical language, just people trying to survive, trade, and cooperate. By the end, you will understand money as a tool, not as an idea, not as a symbol, but as a response to a real human problem. And once you see that problem clearly, money makes more sense. That understanding changes how you think about value. It also changes how you think about trust. Before money existed, people still traded. This system is called barter. In a barter system, people exchanged goods directly, grain for tools, meat for clothing, labor for shelter. At first, this worked in small communities. People knew each other, needs were simple, trust was personal, but barter had limits. The biggest problem was timing. Both people had to want what the other had at the same moment. This is called the double coincidence of wants. It sounds simple. It caused constant frustration. A farmer might need shoes. A shoemaker might not need grain. Trade stopped. As societies grew, this problem grew too. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. Trade expanded across distance and time. People needed a better system, not to create wealth, but to keep trade moving. This is where the pressure began to build, and pressure always creates change. The first solution was not money. It was trust and memory. People began keeping informal records, who owed what, who had helped whom. These records lived in minds. They lived in stories. They lived in reputation. If you helped someone today, they owed you later. No exchange needed right now, just an understanding. This worked for a while, especially in small groups. But memory is fragile. Trust is limited. Disputes are common. As trade expanded, these problems multiplied. People traded with strangers. They traveled farther. They interacted less often. Memory could not scale. Trust could not stretch forever. People needed something consistent, something portable, something everyone recognized. This was not about greed, it was about coordination. That detail mattered more than people realized. Different societies tried different solutions. Some used shells, some used salt, some used metal objects. These items had shared traits. They were scarce. They were durable. They were hard to fake. Most important, they were widely accepted. Value did not come from beauty. It came from agreement. If everyone accepted shells, shells worked. If everyone accepted silver, silver worked. Money was not invented in one place. It emerged many times, independently. That tells us something important. The problem was universal. Money solved three main issues. It stored value over time. It measured value between goods. It allowed delayed exchange. This changed everything. Trade accelerated. Specialization increased. Societies grew more complex. People could focus on one skill. Farmers farmed. Builders built. Traders traveled. Money made cooperation easier, but it also created distance, and that distance mattered. Most people believe money was created to replace barter. This idea is taught often. It feels logical, but it is incomplete. Barter was not the main problem. Trust was. Early economies were based on relationships, not transactions. Money did not replace barter. It replaced fragile trust between strangers. This changes the story. Money was not invented to trade more. It was invented to trade safely. It reduced the risk of disagreement. It reduced the need for memory. It reduced dependence on personal reputation. Money became a shared reference point, a neutral record. This is why governments later became involved. They standardized money, they enforced its use, authority strengthened, trust at scale. This is where power enters the story, and that changed what happened next. Once money existed, societies transformed. Markets expanded rapidly. Trade routes formed. Cities grew. Money allowed taxes. Taxes allowed governments. Governments allowed infrastructure, roads, ports, armies. Money connected people who never met. It linked farmers to merchants, merchants to rulers, rulers to institutions. Daily life changed too. People began to measure work differently. Time gained value. Wages appeared. Savings became possible. So did debt. With debt came obligation. With obligation came pressure. Money also changed relationships. Some became transactional, some became distant. Trust moved from people to systems. This allowed growth. It also allowed abuse. Inequality became visible, power concentrated. Money did not cause these effects alone, but it amplified them. That ripple still moves today. Today, money is mostly digital, numbers on screens, signals in databases, but the core function is unchanged. It still manages trust between strangers. When systems work, money feels invisible. When they fail, panic spreads. Modern examples show this clearly. Bank runs, inflation, currency collapse. These events are not about paper. They're about confidence. Money works because people believe it will work. That belief is collective. It is psychological. Understanding this helps explain behavior. Why markets react to fear. Why rumors matter. Why stability feels valuable. Money is not just economic. It is social. It reflects shared expectations. And that is why it still shapes our lives. Money began as a solution to a trust problem, not a wealth problem. It helped humans cooperate beyond small groups. It allowed complex societies to form. That insight reframes everything. Money is a tool. Tools can help or harm. Understanding its origin helps us use it wisely. It also helps us question it. If you want to keep learning English through clear stories like this, subscribe to English Room. We explore language through ideas that matter, one story at a time.